Good morning, friends. In this session, we will discuss poverty. It is a socio-economic issue, and moreover, it is a multi-dimensional challenge in India, right? So, why to study these concepts? So, let me share the things, right? So, this is the article published on Friday. It means yesterday. So, if you observe, right, so is poverty being underestimated in India? They are mentioning it means they did some survey. That survey they are talking about in the form of Q&A, right? So there are how to read this type of Q&As. After reading how to prepare a structure for easy to remember and easy to recall during the examination, I will deep dive. So before that, let me share the disclaimer, right? So this is one, about this is myself, and moving into the topic. So friends, in this video we are going to learn 7 day structure, right? So we will discuss about intro. We all know why it is in the news, that is the survey. Later we will discuss some of the background, like definitions and some of the statistics that are important for the examination perspective, and some of the reports which give the poverty and everything we will discuss. Later we will see some of the causes for poverty in India. Later we go to the effects, like consequences. What will happen if poverty increases? What will happen if poverty decreases? Everything we will see. Some of the government initiatives to reduce the poverty. So government of India initiatives we will discuss. At the same time, we will discuss some of the global initiatives also. So global initiatives, and we will see one of the flow chart. So while writing this type of questions, it is not possible to write. So we will see the flow chart, how to draw a initiatives. We will go over the views by the aspirant. Finally, conclusion. So apart from this one, this is the structure. After this structure, we will see some of the mains relevant questions. Later, we will discuss about the MCQs. Is it okay, friends? Yes. So let me start the discussion. So, friends, yes. Is my screen is visible? Somebody confirm. Yes. Yeah. So, friend, this is the article. So, in the paper Hindu, dated 24th. So, as per the survey name is Household Consumption Expenditure Survey for the financial year 23-24. They did some survey. According to that, so they are mentioning there is a decline in the poverty of India. But experts, like, so if you say one thing, like experts or critics, they will argue. So they are saying methodology, whatever used in that survey and data accurately, that is not correct. They are mentioning. They are arguing. So friends, we will deep dive what is the concept in this one. So these are news. So before that, what is the poverty and what are the measurements and some of the Indian stats and global stats that are very very important for the examination. So the basic definition of poverty is the inability to afford basic necessities like three necessities: food, cloth, and shelter. This is the standard definition. So if you see the measurements, like we have calorie consumption and income thresholds. These are the old measurements. So if you see different types of measurements, at the end I have given the chart, so you can see that one. So they are the traditional measures. Right now India moved to the, if you see in the measurement evolution, so 1970s, if you see Alag committee, Lakadawala committee, they are mentioning calorie definitions. Later they moved to the Tendulkar committee, Rangarajan committee, which are based upon the income. If you earn some income per day, based upon that one, whether you are a poor person or rich person, they are estimated. So that things changed. Right now in India, we are following, which is multi-dimensional poverty index. It is the index given by the UNDP. So this is very very important for the examination perspective. And in the perspective in this index, what will be there, we will discuss in the upcoming slides. So if you see, these are the definition and these are the measurements based upon the calorie, based upon the income. Right now we are moving to the MPI. So that is the things from history to current one. If you see poverty trends, if you observe, right, so in 2015 2005, in India we have 55% poverty. Right now in 2022 it is 16.4%. It means it reduced um, a lot. So in the newspaper, they are mentioning right now in India, they are mentioning 25%, but moreover they are mentioning concerns. So let us discuss some of the global statistics. So as per World Bank, nearly 9.2% of the world population living in the extreme poverty, right? So majorly, if you see, highest poverty rates in the sub-Saharan African countries. So these are the just for idea. So if you move some of the discussion, there are different types of poverty. So we don't need to discuss all the poverties, but we need to have some idea regarding to rural poverty and urban poverty. So rural poverty means, so especially if you see, which is the high in the rural areas. In India, if you see, we have this type of states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, and basically they are suffering to access infra, education, healthcare in rural poverty. And urban poverty, if you see, basically these urban people suffering with the slum areas, especially due to the overcrowding, unemployment, and lack of sanitation. So slums are increasing. So that is one thing. If you observe, Dharavi is the one of the case study for urban slums. So try to mention that one. And these are for just idea. But our types of poverty, we have multidimensional poverty. So in the multidimensional poverty index given by UNDP, they are measuring health outcomes, like especially nutritional support, like malnutrition. Generally, we have a malnutrition concept. They are mentioning, they are considering that things, and educational skills and living standards. These are the key indicators beyond the income and expenditure. So that is the multidimensional poverty. And absolute poverty, like basic necessities, as we discussed, that we all know. And relative poverty, so refers to the an income inequality, right? So that is the relative poverty, whether average income to low income, high income. So this is the basic concepts regarding to types. So what we need to give importance means, we need to give importance to the current one, that is multidimensional poverty. You should write in the examination and have this type of awareness. Is it okay, friends? Yes. So this is the background. So let me go through once again what we discussed. We discussed the why in the news. Whenever you are starting a question, you need to start this survey, right? Survey is very very important. That is the one. And basic definition and some of the statistics. So now move to the causes of poverty in India. So friends, we know what is the major causes of India. So inequality, friends. So in inequality, they are mentioning economic inequality. So if you observe, there will be different types of inequalities. It may be a social inequality, economic inequality, political inequality, right? Educational inequality. It means there is A is not B equals to B. It means there is some inequalities based upon the conditions, social conditions, economic condition. In economic condition also, there are different types of inequalities. It may be income inequality, it may be a wealth inequality. All right. When it comes to educational inequality, like skills, access to basic education, resources. Like this, there will be different types of inequalities are there. But here, particularly to poverty, they are considering economic inequality, especially wealth, distribution of wealth. So, because if you see in India, we have wealth inequalities. Only top 1%, right? Top 1% people having majority of the wealth resources, wealth in India. And if you see rural and a marginal region, they are also mentioning income inequality. So, population growth. So, because when the population increasing, there will be pressure on the resources. So, whenever we are talking resources, you need to mention natural resources like land, right? So, if you people are increasing, as of now, we have 143 crore population. So, the density of population, right, that will increase. The pressure will increase on the land, increase on the water. Right now, we are facing the water scarcity, another issue. So, that is the one. And land, water, and food, right? So food insecurity, that is the one. So like this infrastructure and other services, so that leads to the ultimate to the poverty, right? And unemployment and underemployment. So there are limited jobs, particularly in rural areas. Informal jobs are very high. Nearly 90% of the people are working in the informal sector in India. So this is another important stat. And lack of education and skills. And based upon the Indian culture, agriculture is most dependent. So more than 55% people are living on the agriculture, which is vulnerable to climate change and market fluctuations, finally leading to debt and deaths, right? So deaths, right? So generally, if you see in Indian agriculture scenario, people are calling it as a rebuilding. So that is drought. So drought leading to death, death leading to death. So this is the agriculture scenario. You can mention 3D. So social inequality. We all know health and sanitation. We all know under rapid urbanization. So right now, India moving at the pace of 40% urbanization and climate change. Everybody knows. So these are the basic causes for poverty which are leading to in India. So what are the effects of the poverty? So what will happen, friends? The poverty increases. So health. So malnutrition. So high infant mortality rates and higher of diseases, spreading of the diseases. So if you see Dharavi condition case study, uh, many people are living in the smaller area. So whenever there is a contagious diseases, so when it spreads very rapidly, all people will vulnerable to that disease. So that type of things will again leading into the poverty, right? Education. So being a poor people, high dropout rates. So initially they will start in schooling, later due to lack of funds and other situations in the home, dropout rates will increases. And there is a limited access to quality education, because poor people will not study in the corporate schools because lack of funds. So there will be a quality education. Generally people believe quality education available in the corporates. So that is one other thing. And economic stagnation, right? So poverty reduces consumer spending. So whenever there is a simple concept in the GDP or economic growth, we all know that is GDP cycle. Whenever consumption increases, right? Consumption increases, what will happen? GDP growth stimulates, GDP will increases. This is a basic funda. So whenever there is no the step of money in the pockets to spend, there is a no consumption, then GDP growth rates will decreases. And social exclusion, right? So marginal communities always face that discrimination and lack of access to opportunities. So that is effects in the poverty, because you are poor people, so there is no opportunity for you. And vicious cycle, friends, this is the very very important. This is vicious cycle of poverty, corruption, and poverty. So generally being a poor people, they prone to take the corrupt, and corruption again leads to the poverty. So this type of vicious cycle is leading to the poverty again. So these are the effects right now present in India. So when it comes to challenges with respect to our current topic, that is survey, right? So this survey, so experts writes, so if you see experts, they are mentioning, they are experts are saying data discrepancies. So there is a divergence between NSSO consumption data as national account statistics raises a question about accuracy. There is a different types of measurements are there, and there is a divergence is there. And methodology, frequent change in the methodology such as recall periods and make comparison difficult. And underestimation risk, especially broadening the consumption basket reduces the poverty estimates but may ignore the regional disparities and hidden vulnerabilities. And rural urban divide, so peri-urban areas blur distinction between rural urban poverty, complicating the target intervention. So these are the challenges with respect to our survey, or experts are saying. Is it okay, friends? So friends, when it comes to the overall topic, so how to reduce this poverty. So friends, we have employment generation scheme, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So we all know it ensured the 100 days of guarantee wage employment per year for rural households. So friends, you can talk this program wherever there is a possibility, depends upon the question. So poverty, it is absolutely you can talk about this one. And the social audit, when is the social audit concept, again you can talk this one, because there will be social audits. And for women empowerment you can talk this one, and uplifting the rural people you can talk this one. So it is totally depends upon the how your mind flexible by using the key concept in the program. It is not fixed to the one, right? That is my intention. And skill India missions through vocational training, so that you can talk about one. When it comes to food security, so we have beautiful program, that is National Food Security Act. So it provides the food grains for the nearly 80 crore people in India. So 2013 the scheme has come, and at that time they are mentioning to address the 75% people. So right now they are providing for 80 crore people. And housing, so Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, affordable housing. So we have two schemes like urban and rural. So yeah, that you can mention. And Jandan Yojana, providing bank accounts and financial services for the unbanked population. So for financial inclusion you can mention that one. And you have UPI, and we have other also, right? Other is one, we can mention that one. And health and sanitation, so Ayushman Bharat program, Swachh Bharat mission, we have urban component, rural component. Components of Ayushman Bharat you can mention. And direct benefit transfer, right? For this one you can also mention, especially for the aspirational districts. So wherever there is a deprivation with respect to whether education, health, infrastructure, so this program address the aspirational district program, ADP, right? So that you can mention. And particularly coming to the this one, this our topic, so revised methodology. So I was to refine the poverty measurements and household surveys for better recall accuracy. There are three round household surveys. It means you need to conduct the survey for the three times, right, for better recall accuracy. And a global comparison, so they are mentioning the poverty line 2 point, while customizing the framework you need to address the socio-economic landscape. So friends, overall here my intention is to tell this how the Indian government presently running the concepts or schemes to address the poverty in India. And we will see flowchart also. So before that we will see some of the global initiatives. So our intention is the first sustainable development goal one. It says to end poverty in all forms by 2030. So basically eradicating the extreme poverty and providing the social protection for vulnerable or marginalized population. This is the aim of the SDG 1. And World Bank poverty reduction strategies. So how World Bank is focusing on the inclusive growth and investment, especially in the health, education, and infra. So because World Bank is providing some funds to the countries, whether it may be direct countries or states in India. So especially regarding to uplift people from the poverty in these areas it is providing. And UNDP program, so we all know how it is measuring MPI and giving index. We all know these are the global initiatives. So When it comes to India, so whenever friends, right, so in the, because it is a big topic, right, it is a big topic and there will be different types of ones. So for that you can write one flow chart. So you need to address different types of sectors like education, and in the education also we have skill development, health. In the health we have malnutrition. It means give the priority what you need to take the component. And agriculture reforms based upon the sectors. These are the social sectors. We are now coming into economic sectors like agriculture and MSMEs like industries. So they are mentioning MSMEs, give importance to industrialization, agriculture, industrialization, and in the social, like inclusive concept. It covers everything. So these are the dimensions. So if there is a no scope to write, then you can write this type of flow chart by putting 5 to 6 headings, and you can write the schemes whatever we have discussed in the earlier topic. So I hope it gives some clarity regarding to flowchart. So finally it comes to the views. So friends, we have right. So being an aspirant, we need to celebrate the success. So over the 2 decades, we have achieved poverty reduction. Right. If you observe in 1950, right, in 1950 we have nearly 55%. Right now in the 2022, we have come to 16.4%. So there is a big gap in the reduction. So it is some type of success. So you can attribute that one to economic growth and effective welfare programs implementation. That is the thing you can mention. When it comes to being a critic, and you can mention methodological changes, and they are masking the actual or true extent of poverty, so leading to underestimation, that you can mention. And still you can mention that is still there is a gaps in the implementation, that you can mention. And finally take the balanced conclusion. So friends, we have two types of conclusion in the for this topic. So India's poverty measurement debate underscores the need for, because there is no transparency, different measurements are there, different schemes are there, right? So there is no transparency, and methodologies and statistics are there, and there is no consistency and no inclusive data. So that is a debate. And while progress has been made, challenges such as we have regional disparities. So if you see in North India or South India, there is a different uh, dimensions, regional disparities, and urbanization, so require some nuanced approaches. So by refining the solution, like here we are first we have mentioned some challenges, and now we are moving to the providing the solutions like refining methodologies, ensuring robust policies. India can better address poverty, achieve goals of inclusive development. So like this we are concluding. So that is the one style. And when it comes to another style, India has made significant strides in reducing poverty, because we have seen 1950 to 2022 how the poverty decreased, but challenges are still there like a regional. It means we are slightly mentioning the positive, then we are talking about the negative, finally going to the future like way forward. So that we are mentioning, so unemployment, social inequality. By focusing on the inclusive development, target welfare program, addressing systemic barriers, can India can continue to reduce poverty and achieve sustainable growth. So this is the friends, finally at the end for this type of social topics and multidimensional concepts. Finally we need to mention the inclusive development or sustainable growth or achieving sustainable development goals. So that concept you need to build. So friends, whatever I'm mentioning, these are some of the beyond topics, like what are the recommendations in the earlier topics. This is the committees like Alag committee, Lagadawala committee, Tendulkar committee, Rangarajan committee, and what they are mentioning. So friends, now we move to some of the questions relevant to this topic. Yes. So friends, the question is the issues of poverty and inequality. Right. So poverty and inequality continue to pose a challenges. Yes, definitely there are challenges for Indian economy, and discuss the measures taken by the government of India to reduce these challenges and way forward. So friends, the issue of poverty and inequality. So whatever there, so give them in the same structure in relevant structure, and finally give importance to, they are mentioning, discuss the measures taken by government of India. So what are the measures they are giving, the stressing the measures. So we can talk about the measures like in education what are the measures, in health what are the measures, and agriculture what are the reforms, mm, industrialists like MSMEs what are the reforms, and for the inclusive development what are the reforms. So that you need to mention financial inclusion, that you can mention. And they are talking about the discuss means we need to mention the positives as well as the negatives, finally conclusion way forward. So that is your important area or thrust area. Despite significant, despite significant poverty reduction over decades, India still faces challenges in tackling multidimensional poverty. Analyze. Friends, whenever the term comes keyword analyze, you need to deep dive in 7 day structure. Means almost you need to cover everything like positive, negatives, examples, and case studies. Everything you need to mention because it's the 7 day structure. Because in the editorial analysis, the topic is editorial analysis means include the all stages and evaluate the effectiveness of DBT and other government initiatives in addressing poverty and inequality. Friends, we need to they are mentioning evaluation, right? So try to think about it and mention your answer below the video. So now we will see some of the MCQs. Which of the following committees have been associated with the poverty estimation in India? So friends, we have 4 committees like Alag Committee, Lakdawala Committee, Rangarajan Committee, Alag, Lakdawala, Rangarajan, Tendulkar Committee, right? So Gadgil Committee is not there, friends. So we can straight away eliminate 3. So whenever if you eliminate 3, it comes to 1 and 2. Which of the following measures poverty in India in terms of deprivation in health, education, living standards? So straight away they are mentioning multi-dimensional poverty index key areas. So it is given by UNDP. So consider the following statements about the poverty in India. So urban poverty is higher than a rural poverty in India in absolute terms. So they are mentioning urban is greater than rural. So friends, if you observe with respect to poverty, rural is higher than the urban, friends. So why? Because majority of the people in urban area depends upon the agriculture. We all know agriculture is a last business. So many people in rural areas suffering with the poverty. So this statement is not correct. And states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu have lower poverty rates compared to Bihar and Jharkhand. Yes, friends. So when if you observe, basically these are the South Indian states are better. Some areas like poverty, education, right? So we can consider two only is the correct answer. What about NFSA Act? So NFSA Act aims to provide subsidized food grains. So which was 2013 Act for the three-fourth of the people. Three-fourth of the people giving the subsidy. Right now it is providing for the 80 crores people food grains. So right now we all know one PM Garib Kalyan Yojana, right? So under this program, they are providing grants based upon that scheme also. Which are the following government schemes focus on financial inclusion to address poverty? So Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So to provide the bank accounts, Startup India scheme, Deen Dayal Antyodhana. Friends, it is a skilling program. So we have Skill India mission like that. It provides the skilling for the people. So all are correct, which are relevant to the financial means which are relevant for the money. Which indicators are used in the multi-dimensional poverty index? Yes. So friends, we all know we have health, education, right, and living standards. These are the key areas. But the question is slightly different. If you observe, they are mentioning year of schooling, so that comes to the health, that comes to the education. That is correct. Access to clean cooking fuel, so let it be uh, put aside. Nutritional deficiency, yes, it comes under the health. and monthly per capita expenditure. So nowhere it is related to the either income or consumption. So it is wrong answer. But we have doubt between two only, right? So we can go for either these two, right? Option A or option B. When it comes to access to clean cooking fuel, so it's slightly related to the health one, right? So if you have cooking fuel, clean cooking fuel, so your health outcomes will increases. Otherwise, health expenditure will increases. So that you can consider on the health topic. So the answer would be 1, 2, 3. So the term aspirational districts covers. So yes, the districts with high poverty rates targeted for rapid development. So not only this one, so they are mentioning health, education, and infrastructure. Wherever there is a deficiency or deprivation, so they are considering as a aspirational district program. Yes. So friends, this is overall concept. Thank you so much for watching. We will meet in the next concept.